Hey, thanks for checking in. This is Tim from Rural Model Media. We are kicking off the world's first Predator R swap. At least that's what I've been told so far. I've been playing around with big blocks and boosted big blocks for the last 8, 9, 10 years. About another maybe 7 or 8 years of NA big blocks and some off-road applications before that. Built several for customers, everything from blower motors to big mud trucks, my own dune toy, and decided to head into the drag race world. And it was a little clunky at first. Started out in the 12s, then we got into the 10s, and we got into the 9s, and then got pretty comfortably into the 8s, running 870s. Did that with a C6 transmission. Built the motor, built the tranny, took care of all the tuning needs. This car is kind of a rolling business card. I've done the paint, body, most of the tube work. It's just been a fun process. It's been kind of a toy, but I learned a lot with the big block stuff. We ended up with a real nose-heavy car. Handling wasn't real great. Obviously, the car itself was really heavy. After several weight cuts, including most of the trunk is aluminum, back seats aluminum, eliminating the dash altogether and just going with a fiberglass cap, tubing out the front end, fiberglass nose cone on here. We got the car down to 3,100 pounds, obviously without me in it. It still has factory glass, factory doors, factory firewall, floors, quarters, roof. It has all glass in it, power windows, and crash bars still in the door, along with a stock passenger seat, center console, headliner, and padded carpet. I wanted to have a little bit of comfort because the plan of this is to do drag and drive stuff. I think we can get this thing down under a 750 once we get the suspension sorted out for the new weight. This should end up on the scales right around the 2750 to 2850 with this new combination. The new motor is, I started out looking for a Gen 3 Coyote. After I found out they weren't available, my contact at the local dealership said, "Hey, have you heard of the Predator R?" I said, "Isn't that the new truck?" He said, "Yeah, but I can get you a service motor considering what you want to do with this thing." I said, "Oh, tell me more about it." So this is the Predator R. It is starting at the top down, I am installing a Boss manifold. It comes with a Voodoo heads from the factory, but it does have truck cams. We will lock out the timing. I'll be controlling that with a Holley Dominator. As you move further down the engine, the block is the new 5.2 Voodoo. I think it's the Voodoo block. It's the one with the plasma arc transfer cylinders. It comes from the factory gapped for boost because this was a supercharged application, so it has better valve springs on it, the right size valves. The rings are already gapped for the boost. Manly forged pistons, manly forged rods, ARP hardware, 12-quart aluminum oil pan with baffles. That's all from Ford that way. This is going to be a sweet bone stock platform to start with. The only modifications I'm doing are, like I mentioned before, locking out the timing, adding the Boss intake manifold instead of a supercharger because we're going to put my big old turbo on there, and we're going to put oil pump billet gears in it. Other than that, I want to leave this thing as stock as possible. We will dump the E85 into it with big injectors, Aeromotive 7.0 brushless 2-speed pump. And then I've got a custom somewhere around 85 to 90 millimeter turbo, thanks to Wild Bill at Bullseye Turbo. He took care of me on that. I still don't quite know what millimeter it is at this point because it was just something that's gone back and forth a few times while we were trying new things out with a big block. So this should be fun. Full stock reliability. We'll throw some boost at it, throw some fuel at it, see how it does. As far as the rest of the driveline is concerned, it will be a Capizzi built Turbo 400 with all the goodies in it. We'll be using dump valves. Circle D converter, still have to get that one spec'd out and ordered up. Currently I have a narrowed 8.8 inch in there with a spool and 33 spline axles. We're going to start out with a 308 gear that will allow for a nice soft launch. We can turn it up from there. I've got a couple other sets of gears sitting on the shelf. But yeah, the whole plan for this thing is to be able to jump in it, drive it down to the track. It's about 20 miles away. Rip off an 850 ish, maybe 8.0. We'll see how far. Maybe we'll make it down into the 750s or a little bit below that. But the eventual plan is to just dial it back and run the 850 index class, doing drag and drive stuff, local events. It should be a lot of fun. And the beauty of this whole setup is basically 100% stock engine reliability. I had that big block in and out ripped apart 2 to 3 times a season for the last 8 years. That is an unbelievable amount of gaskets, fluids, retorquing, not to mention work. And I'm doing this all from a wheelchair, which some people say I'm crazy, some people like it, some people hate it, whatever, doesn't matter. I'm having a blast with it. This is just a hobby for me, so I don't have the fancy mics and lighting and everything else. Eventually, we'll probably get to that point if you guys like this. So, because I do work a full-time job, this is just a hobby. I'm not on the weekly video schedule. If you like what you see, do me a favor, just click like and subscribe, and that way you'll be notified when I do drop videos. At this point, the plan is every 2 to 3 weeks you'll see something new come out for me. Some of it will be from the beginning. I'll be doing a full series on the Predator R swap, everything we had to do, the custom K-member, the way I changed out the front suspension geometry. Obviously, we'll have to do a whole bunch of messing around with the weights, spring rates, shock valving, getting that all sorted out so this thing actually performs the way it should. This time around, we're going to add a bunch of I/O to it. I will have shock travel sensors on all 4 corners. I've got a laser ride height sensor for wheelie control, drive shaft speed sensor, so we may activate the traction control if we need it. With this thing being so light, it is going to have a tendency to either spin the wheels or rip off a wheelie. Either way, I want to kind of control that a little bit so we don't get too out of shape and wreck the car. There's a ton of motion racework stuff on it this time around. Shifter, throttle body, a bunch of additional I/O related to transmission pressures. We'll be checking individual EGTs on it. Boy, what else? There'll also be a series of product reviews as we go through this as well. The very first video, for example, will have CG Fab headers on it. On one of the scenes, I'll do a quick highlight on that. I'll be doing a full reveal video where I hook up the trailer, run to the dealership. I didn't film that, but hook up the trailer, unload it, get it up on the stand. The headers will be on it. Give a quick show and tell on those, and we'll go through some stuff on the rest of the car.